The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great guest for us today. He comes to us from Newark, Ohio. He is the king of Newark, and he is a fellow comic. Destin Richardson joins the show. Destin, thanks for joining, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Hey, not a problem at all. So, how's comedy life treating you? We'll just roll right into it.
Roll right into it. No foreplay, no nothing.
Nothing.
So comedy life's been going pretty great. Actually, I'm ending a 3-day weekend, and the whole day has just been me at this computer editing episodes of my podcast.
Yeah.
So even my day off, it doesn't feel like it, but I'm slowly starting to fill in some in-person shows. And, like I said, been having good luck on recording the podcast since you and I spoke last on said podcast.
Right.
Yeah, I finally, for the first time ever, I actually have like 4 episodes in the bank, so I actually don't have to worry about it for a month or so. Just getting all my work done today, hitting schedule release on all my platforms and everything, and then for the next month I don't have to worry about inviting people over to my house to talk in my living room for an hour. So
man, you sound like me. Like, I am so far ahead with recordings and everything like that. Like, I know this, by the time this airs, this probably won't make sense, but right now it's February 19th, it's President's Day when we're recording this. I'm already done with February, I'm into March, and actually starting April recordings. Like, so I get it, though. Like, your days off aren't days off. Like, I don't get days off.
Yeah. Yeah, because like for my day job, Sunday is like the one guaranteed day I have off.
Yeah.
So naturally, that's my go-to day to do podcast. Which, granted, the act of just sitting down and talking to people, that's not work for me. I love every second of that. It's the getting on a computer and being a video editor, which is something I had no desire to do when I was younger. All I wanted to do was get on stage and talk about my dick. I didn't want to have to. I didn't want to have to like learn how to do graphic design, video editing, sound engineering, all this other stuff that we have to now to survive in today's comedy industry. So
yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind that aspect of it. It's actually what I got my college degree in. And communications, and it was considered new media, quote unquote, back in the early 2000s when I was in college.
Was it N with the NU, like new metal was?
I wish it was. I went to a liberal arts college, so they don't do anything like that to rock the boat.
Right.
But
yeah,
Yeah, it was all like when Facebook was really starting to take off and all the social medias and Twitter and all that. So it was like, yeah, this is going to be the way of the world. And all of us looked at each other like, they're fucking full of shit. There's no way like this. And now, yeah, communicate through Twitter, Facebook, it's everything. So, yeah, I had to do a lot of like video editing and audio editing and stuff like that to actually get my degree.
Right. Yeah, early 2000s, they were wrong about Janko jeans and frosted tips, but they were right about internet and is the future. So
yeah, they nailed that one. I don't know, though. I'm a big cargo short guy and cargo pant guy myself. Those are coming back now. I've seen, I've noticed, and I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah, I almost never wear anything that's not cargo shorts when it gets above like 60 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those assholes that wears shorts when it's like 40, 30 degrees. No, then you wear your long pants. But yeah, I run hot. So like once it's over 60, cargo shorts for me.
Yeah, that's me. Like this past couple of weeks when it got up into the 60s and everything like that, like it was like, man, I don't even need my heater at work here. Like I might crank the AC back on here in the office just to piss everybody off that comes in to look for a shed. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah. Well, I sit in here all day. You don't. You buying something? No. Get the fuck.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I mean, my office is the outdoors. So yeah. So I opened up the windows, didn't have the AC on. Yeah. When it was in the 60s, I was wearing the shorts.
So let me ask you this: what made you want to get into comedy?
So the answer that I'm supposed to tell people and tell the social media is a love of making people laugh, of bringing light into darkness, of turning a skill that I had to survive school and profit off of it. The real answer is pussy. I want to be able to sleep with women a little better than I should be getting without comedy. That's it. Money will be nice. Like the money, the recognition, free drinks, that's all cool, and I like that too. But it's all about
that vag.
All about that, yeah. And okay, there's a degree of truth to the other stuff I said earlier. Like I said, like I was always a fat kid growing up. And so it's one of those things, if I wanted to fit in, if I wanted to do anything, I had to bring something to the table. So that was being funny. And then, I'm clinically depressed as well. So no, I do genuinely gain some satisfaction out of being able to make people laugh, smile, forget about their stuff too. And then I'm hoping at least one of them, meets me in the bathroom afterwards. So,
yeah.
So that's the long and short of it. Also, when I was 13, I was staying at an uncle's house one time in Pennsylvania, and then he had a lot of like stand-up like albums, DVDs, stuff like that. And I stumbled upon Eddie Murphy's Raw special, and. Because, at the time, I'd only ever known Eddie Murphy for Dr. Dolittle and Donkey and Shrek. So I was like, oh, Eddie Murphy. And, turn it on. And the very first thing should scar people for life if they only knew him as those two things.
Yeah.
And it did the opposite for me. I was like, this is great. And by the end of Raw, I was like, I want to do that someday. And then what officially got me off the couch to do it was all the way back in 2018 after, so it had been 10 years since I first saw Raw. But in 2018, I saw Doug Stanhope's Beer Hall Push stand-up special. And just watching a dude care so little about fame and money and all the stuff and just doing the art and not giving a fuck. I was like, all right, I need to look up an open mic right now. I am going and I'm doing everything I have. My first set was like a 15-minute set because it was a regular like all art form open mic, so mostly musicians. and they were doing 15, 20-minute spots. So I did 15 minutes my first time out, and it went well. I did not kill it by any means, but I didn't bomb either. I had maybe two jokes that didn't land how I wanted them to, but for the most part, I achieved exactly what I wanted to. It felt great, and then the rest is history, and that's why I'm here talking to you from my living room. So,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, me getting into comedy was to help a friend out, and I never thought I'd want to turn it into a career. Now, I've always watched stand-ups and comedy specials and stuff like that growing up. Like, Raw was definitely one of the ones that, turned me on to comedy. But, the Jerry Seinfelds of the world, and then getting to do, like, the sitcoms along with it being on TV, that kind of interested me. But I had such crippling stage fright that it's like there's no way I'd ever be able to do that with this stage fright. There's no way. But Buddy convinced me to do it just to fill a spot for him. And like you, I did 20 minutes. Because he ran his shows a little weird. He wasn't really scripted as much. He was like, all right, just go up there till you run out of jokes. It's like, well, I could go up there for like 30 seconds and pass out, then my portion's over. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. So, but I'm talking for 20 minutes, and then, got off stage. I killed the room and caught the comedy bug and just decided, like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's chase a dream, and let's make a career out of making people laugh and telling stupid dick jokes on stage. Like, let's do that. Or for me, the best joke that landed for me was which you heard at the Black Friday show we did, the rape joke. I've been doing that joke for almost 12 years, and it still gets a laugh. And I've told myself that I'm probably not going to stop doing that joke until it doesn't get a laugh. And like it gets a laugh every time. So I've added to it. Obviously over the years, changed it up a little bit, but like my writing style is completely, I don't want to say non-existent, but it's non-existent. I just kind of live my life, and then I just kind of write down ideas from things I've seen that I think I could make funny, and then I just go on stage and just kind of riff. So like, do you have a writing style yourself when you're writing jokes?
Yeah, kind of. I was just, while you were talking about yours, honestly, yeah, you're very, it feels naturally conversational.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not that you're like not trying like too hard. You're not, like, it's just, you have a natural feel to your delivery and all that. So, respect.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, for my writing style, I started out, again, strictly story-based. I didn't write a lot of one-liners starting out.
Yeah.
But over time, and I'm a fan of literally every style of comedy. If we're talking like, I like some alternative stuff. I like urban stuff. I hate the term urban. Black. I like black comics.
We can say it on here.
That was a lot of my roots, pun intended. was black comics. Deadpan comics. I love a good deadpan comic every now and then. I love a lot of female comics. I love a lot of one-liners. I love the storytellers. Any style of comedy I love and respect. So I'll always dabble little bits here and there of something, but I always approach. Obviously we do a lot of reverse engineering sometimes. Like we have the punchline first. And then it's like, all right, well, now how do we stretch this out to a bit or a story or something to, fill time, add suspense, add elements, set up stuff. So it usually starts with that. Usually I'm out there during the day job. The idea hits me, it goes in my notes app. I come home, I look at it. I was like, all right, first off, what was I thinking? It's been hours since then. Sometimes I forget. There's a great Mitch Hedberg joke about how he'll do the same thing, and then when he gets home he's like, I either had to remember exactly what it was, or I have to convince myself that what I wrote down isn't funny enough to actually write it out or something like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, all right, is it worth me even trying to think about what I was thinking? And but yeah, I'll sit it down, I'll write out, traditionally 3 to 4 tags on top of that are all related, and then I'll sprinkle in some details. So yeah, pretty much I usually work, back to the front for the most part. You always have one that breaks even your own established style. Sometimes it's just a story that it's word for word. You write it in chronological order. But typically a lot of reverse engineering. So punchline, I think of tags, then I think of other stuff to make it sound more like a story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I'm a storytelling comedian, or as they dubbed me almost 12 years ago, a ranting comedian. Because I don't want to say I don't talk about anything positive on stage, because I do have some positive things that I talk about on stage, but 98% of my set is just things that piss me off. And it's how one of my running jokes that I can just continually build on, and said I hate stupid questions, and I hate stupid people, and that's the gist of it, because I've worked in retail for as long as I've been a comic, and you hear nothing but fucking stupid questions all day. And being in a professional, I need to make a sale or I don't make money type of situation, I gotta suppress and push all that anger down to my feet. And then when they leave, I'm just writing it down, I cannot forget that question. And then I just literally say the question and then just go on a tirade on stage. And that was the early parts of my comedy, and that's where I started my my merch store, the Stupid Shit Hurt merch store, because that's now the tagline is I think stupid should hurt. And
SSH,
that's I tell everybody, because people come up to me with SSH, because I didn't think when I made this hat to maybe I should put a period in between each letter so that it's an acronym for something, because people just come up to me all the time and they just go shh, and I'm just at first I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, my hat, yeah, I forgot I'm wearing it, yeah. But no, it's not what it stands for. But I've evolved the SSH to, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. Sexy, sultry hunk. That's that's exactly what it means. You want to buy a hat? Let's buy a hat. That's what's $20. Then I'll get you one. You know what I mean? But
single Spanish hose.
There you go. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one before. That's definitely
That's what's on my mind all the time.
Single Spanish hose.
That's why I'm doing this.
For the single Spanish hose.
Yeah. I'll say, keep me away from New Mexico, Arizona, El Paso. Or if I learn enough Spanish, maybe I'll do gigs in Juarez or Tijuana.
Yeah, it's people have asked me though, because I am Italian, and my grandparents and great grandparents were right off the boat from Italy, and my great grandparents spoke very broken English, so I had to learn a little bit at a very young age to be able to communicate with them if I wanted to. But people ask me, oh, you're Italian, would you ever do a show in Italy? I was like, well, first off, yes, because that's a bucket list dream of mine, is to go to Italy. So if I have a chance to work and make money while doing it, fuck yeah. But there's going to be a language barrier, because I completely forget how to communicate in Italian. I know a select few words that come out in my daily life, I guess. I still remember when my wife and I first moved in together. We were doing dishes after dinner, and she was washing them, I was drying them, and I'll say what it is, but the dish towels were on the other side of her. So I just turned to her, because this is what has been said to me for my entire life, was called a mapine. A mapine is dish towel in Italian. And I turned to her and I said, hey, can you hand me the mapine? And she goes,
okay.
What? I said, can you hand me the mapine? She goes, hand you what? And now the Italian anger is coming out, and I just went, the pain! Like, and she was like, okay, you can say it as loud as you want. I don't know what the fuck that is. I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're nowhere near done. The dish towel, so I can dry the dishes as you're doing them. And she was like, the fuck did you call it? I was like, mapine? She's like, what is it? I was like, dish towel in Italian. That's what we've always called them. They're mapines. Like, that's what it is. So, like, things come out, and I'm working on a design for a new shirt, and I saw it on a page, and I'm trying to make it my own and not steal theirs, but it's the word for basically idiot or stupid person in Italian, and that's stunad. And I seen this shirt on, it's Hardcore Italians. I love their merchandise and stuff like that, but it said stunads. I'm surrounded by stunads. And I'm trying to think of a way to incorporate Stunad into my merch store, the Stupid Shit Hurt merch store. But yeah, I know a little bit of a time. Obviously, all the bad words. Everyone knows those. Like, that's a given.
Yeah.
But
I'll say, yeah, if it's a swear word or a type of pasta.
Yeah, then everyone knows those, yeah.
It's, on the subject of pasta, one thing, America's always, bastardized Italian food, and I think I know why, as I've started to learn how to cook more and more of it, is it's just Americans don't want to do the dishes, so they try to make everything as a one-pot pasta.
Yeah. And
that's where they fuck it up. Sometimes you got to accept, hey, we're going to do a couple more dishes, but we're going to do everything right, Right. Like, that's all the thing is, like, on TikTok, there's so many TikTok cooking videos, and it's just a bunch of people trying to do these giant casserole dishes or one-pot pastas, and then you have an entire country on the Mediterranean Sea losing their shit, and then Americans find that funny, and then the cycle's never-ending.
It's a vicious circle of just... Yeah. People pissing off my culture, like that's what it is. And the
I'll say, you're an Italian raised in West Virginia, so you're just a confrontation machine on both fronts.
You have no idea. Like sometimes I do it just to get the blood pressure up and get it moving. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know what? Let's fight today. Let's have an argument over something stupid. Like. Doesn't even, like, why'd you hang your keys on that hook instead of that hook? Does it fucking matter where I put my goddamn, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I find little things that I found out, and my wife found out very quickly after she met my family for the first time, like, why I lose my shit on a daily basis over the smallest thing. It's just an Italian thing. Like, we have very short fuses. And it doesn't take much to light that fuse and get a reaction. And I think that's how the mafia got started.
Yeah.
Somebody was just like...
We'll be back after a quick break.
Big labia energy.
But if I eat a little cheese every day...
just keep it
it's like I have a tolerance, for cheese.
Good
Same
job
with cats.
If you're tolerant.
Like, if I pet a cat every day for the first week or two...
I thought you were going to say if I eat a cat a little bit every day, started at the tail and just ate a little bit, that'd be fine. But if I didn't eat a cat for 3 months...
I would totally start at the face. Why would you start at the tail? If someone put a gun to my head and said, eat this cat, I'm trying to think of an acceptable scenario.
About a feline, right?
Oh, did you think I was talking about pussy?
Maybe. It could go there.
I don't want to eat a cat. I want to eat a pussy.
I mean, if there's one thing Goodfellas did accurately was just how quickly Joe Pesci's character killed a made man just because one small little slight,
Yeah.
It's like, even though he knew the consequences, he lived his whole life in the mob, but just one guy that he didn't think was funny. He thought he was a little too wise, and then we know how that ended for him. But
right. Yeah, Goodfellas is definitely one of my favorite Italian movies of all time. Yeah. I was trying to think. I had another one on top of my head, and it's gone. It'll circle back around here in a minute. My mind's like a lazy Susan. If you give it a minute, it'll come back around to what you're looking for. But So comedy and, the podcast, the Destination podcast that I was just recently on. And...
Are you recording?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
What's up?
It's a long story.
Okay. Yeah. The the wife, I don't know, she was holding something in her hand, and she had a concerned look on her face, and she goes, "Are you recording?" I was like, "Yes." She goes, "Oh, it's a long story," and just walked away. So we'll find that out later here tonight. What happened?
You want to know what happened?
Yes, I do want to know what happened.
I was washing my face in the shower, and I ripped my nose ring out. And I didn't know, and I couldn't get it in because I can't see, and I don't like touching my own nose. So I put it in my mouth, okay? So I go to cough, and I accidentally, inhale it in, kind of. I have to, keep coughing to cough it out. So I finally cough it out. Now I have it, and I can't get it in because I can't touch my own nose.
So moral of the story is you can't get your nose ring back in.
No, I cannot.
Okay. Let me finish here. I will put your nose ring back in for you, dear. Okay. Yeah, that's all.
That's love.
That's love. Here's the thing, though. She can't touch her.
Fascinating story.
She can't touch her own nose. And she hates it when I touch her nose. But now I have to try to muscle through that and put her nose ring back in when we're done here.
Right.
It's going to be a very fun night.
Sounds like the equivalent of trying to give a cat a bath.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's has to be done, but the whole time she's gonna be like,
we have one cat out of the 5. She got it. We don't have to worry about it, everyone. Now we got it. The word is from the back of the room. We got it. She got it. All right.
Look at this.
Oh, let me see it.
All alone.
Oh, good. You go, girl.
I touch my
you
nose
get yourself some. All right. Welcome to the Bono house, guys. That's just that's what happens in my house.
now you knows what goes on in that house.
This is this is why I don't need to write material. This is why there's no material that needs to be wrote down at all. Because, that's gold there. But, so comedy, how long have you been doing comedy?
So actually, well, this will air afterwards. So February 24th for our recording is Saturday, but February 24th is my 6-year anniversary.
Right on.
The reason I'm throwing a show, which again has already happened since now, but the reason I threw a show specifically for it is because I sort of almost don't count 2020. So if in theory it's 5 active years.
Right.
So that's enough of a milestone where I'm like, all right, hey, let's do some kind of special thing for it. But yep. And then also, back when I started, as soon as I started stand-up, I got a serious girlfriend, only my second one. And already I was like, all right, clearly I'm not even sticking true to my purpose for doing stand-up. I was like, the idea is all of the women, not just one. But no, so we dated for 2 years. But even though right from the get-go I had told her, I'm like, hey, I just started doing stand-up. It's been my dream since I was 13. It's going well so far. I was like, so I will be pursuing this. So just know that means there are going to be a couple of weekends that I won't be here. I'll, in theory, be all over Ohio, over the Midwest, wherever. And at first she's like, I want to be with you every step of the way. I want to fully support you. I can't wait to be at some award show with you when you get some small comedic role in a movie or a TV series, something like that. So it was like solid. You're on board. And then months later, change your tune. Always guilt tripped me so hard about never being there for her, never helping with her son, all that classic stuff. So admittedly, I then also took about 5 months off just to appease her. So, but yeah. So to answer your original question, 6 years total, give or take a couple months, due to 2 different types of infections in my life.
Yeah. I get it though, because I guess I say I've been doing it. It'll be 12 years in November of this year of 2024. But I did take a year off, like a full year off from doing comedy. Like, I had been grinding and just trying to make this a thing and driving all over the Midwest and the East Coast and everything, just hitting different open mics and trying to make a name for myself. That in like the first 4 or 5 years that I just like burnt myself out, that I was just like, you know what, I'm not even going to think about comedy. I need to just decompress and just focus on what's important. And yeah, that was like the longest year of my life. And I didn't plan on taking like a year off. I actually was like, no, I'll take like a month, 2 months off, and I'll jump back on the horse. And I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I was just that burnt out of it. And so yeah, I mean, I technically, I guess 11 years with that year off, but I was still always thinking about comedy and what's funny and trying to find the funny in every situation. Did you have that with your time off?
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing. The mind of a comic never, ever, ever, ever shuts off. I can't. I remember I was like talking to a girl a couple months ago or whatever, and I even just casually mentioned that. I was like, oh my God, I just saw something. For the first time ever, I'm not trying to think about how I can make this a joke. And she's even like, okay, congrats on being a normal fucking person.
Yeah.
I was like, glad to hear someone dying that you couldn't spin a joke about it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, now I have to process trauma and all this stuff. I have to actually deal with it head on and not just swerve it by making it a joke. So I realized I didn't like that, and I went right back to my old ways. But
Yeah, I'm convinced that like the day that happens to me is the day it's like time to hang up the microphone. Like, if I can't find the funny in the situation, then like, yeah, it's time to hang it up. Like, I found a joke out of my grandfather's funeral. And I say grandfather, but it was my mom's real dad who left when she was real young, and I didn't meet him until I was 25 years old. So we didn't have the best relationship. But my grandfather on my dad's side, the Dago of the group, he doesn't wear his hearing aids, and he can't hear, and he's a very loud Italian as it is. And he absolutely loves my wife. He loves my wife to the point where it's all he wants to do is sit and talk with her when we're at family get-togethers. Well, this was one family get-together that you probably shouldn't be working up funny conversations. Joking on my own spit. All right.
it's the opposite of my podcast.
I was going to say, you had a heart attack on your podcast. I'm choking on my own spit. We're a mess, man. Like, this is...
We got to stop meeting like this.
We do. Anyways, so...
Are you washing it down with a Miller Lite, too?
It's Michelob Ultra, but yes.
Michelob Ultra? Okay. Hey,
and I'll give another shameless plug, in my buddy's beer koozie. So,
yeah. Shout out, Buddy Holly.
No, I'm not choking on my nose ring. I'll leave that up to you, honey. So anyways, and my wife loves this story too as well, because it happened to her. Well, we're sitting there. The funeral hasn't started yet. And my grandfather did not like this man at all. He did not like my mom's real dad at all. So he leans over into my wife as if he's going to whisper and goes, I don't know who's going to come to this. He was kind of an asshole and nobody liked him. And he said it that loud in the middle of the funeral parlor when my mom is a mess crying in the front of the fucking funeral parlor. And my dad just goes, oh, Jesus Christ, Dad. Like, what are we doing? Then my grandmother turns around, who's equally as loud as my grandfather, and goes, "Hey, Pamf, you want to say it a little louder so you can wake the dead up there?" This is what happened at the start of this funeral. We still laugh about this to
This is
this
just the
day.
opening act.
I'm going to say this. It was the best funeral I've ever been to in my life. Like, and it was a family members. That's the best part, is because we laughed about that, and we told every single person that walked in to that funeral parlor that story, and it made it a better experience, I guess, for everybody. We weren't crying, we weren't depressed because we lost a family member. We were laughing and enjoying the day, which I still didn't know him that well. I think he would have wanted, but I don't know. He was kind of an asshole, and nobody really liked him. But yeah, he said it that loud. That was the best part. Is he absolutely screamed this, and he leaned into my wife's ear like he was going to whisper to her, and didn't whisper at all.
Right.
And that's my family. That's just why I don't need to actually physically sit at a desk and be like, all right, I need to write some jokes. No, that doesn't need to happen.
That's great. That's an example of when keeping it real goes right.
Yes. Yeah.
My funeral. I've already, because my parents, they're both getting older now, and they started experiencing some health things, so they got real paranoid. And we all went to our local funeral home to, write up what happens. I don't know, to plan our funerals. And I had already written in mine that I'm having at falling hours, it'll end with a roast of me. I already have notified the comics, like, hey, when you see my mom make a sad Facebook post about and speaking about me in past tense, bring out the jokes.
Game on.
Yeah. I'll say it, and we already did. I got to do a version of it while I was alive this year for my 30th birthday. I had a roast of me, which, for those of you still watching, you can go to my YouTube channel. It's on there in its entirety. It's great. My friends are assholes. I love it. And then also I have a playlist for my, I already sent them the playlist for my calling hours. And just to piss off my parents and my family, it is 5 hours of just the most hardcore gangster rap imaginable. I mean, we're talking like songs where like machine guns are an instrument in the track, like hardcore gangster shit. And I just know my parents will be like, just when you think we knew him, But just to make them uncomfortable, my couple of friends will, they'll be loving it. They'll be vibing, drinking my Miller High Lifes. Because again, I also put that in my my funeral arrangements. There'll be kegs of Miller High Life and Dos Equis at my calling hours. And so yeah, it's gonna be a keg or it's gonna be a roast. My funeral is gonna be the most fun show I've ever produced, basically.
I'll tell you this right now. I'll MC the whole thing just for that. Like this, let's do this.
Yeah, we'll get you on the mic.
I'll get in there and just.
I'll be the one that holds up the round cards.
What?
Holds up with the what are those called?
Oh, my wife's gonna be a ring girl and hold up the round cards as the comics roast you. That's what she just said. She goes, "I'm gonna hold up the round cards."
Nice. Yeah, or the applause and the awe signs. And,
when you're supposed to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
there'll be a hologram of me at the end getting my final say. Doing my wrap up set.
Yeah.
So it'll be a video. I don't have Coachella budget. I'm not going to do like the Tupac hologram thing. Right. It'll just be someone wheels out a TV on like one of those school carts that they had their TVs on, and then someone will put it in a VHS, and it will be my VHS. My last set.
We just lost every Gen Z listener to this show. From you just said like VHS. What are these dinosaurs talking about? I don't know. What is that?
the TVs that we would in school when our teachers were hungover would make us watch Magic School Bus on or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yeah. Now I know they know Bill Nye. Bill Nye's been timeless. He's still.
If you don't know Bill Nye, this is the wrong show for you. I'm going to tell you that right now.
And even then, you need to know Magic School Bus. That show was an acid trip written for children.
Oh, 100%. Like that was for, I think, the stoner parents that were stuck home with their kids sick. They're like, all right, now we got to watch this shit. And then, like, so yeah, that was like, all right, we're gonna go out back get stoned. You just lay here, honey. We're just gonna go outside for a second. We'll be right back.
That's what I remember when she came. What happens when you're sick?
And she comes back and just stoned out of her gourd watching Magic School Bus. It's the only way to watch it, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the funeral plan. Yeah.
That is phenomenal, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I can't wait. I can't wait for this to happen. I'm not gonna.
Me neither. If only I could stick around for the reviews,
Right?
But
yeah.
That's the part that's going to kill me as an artist is the banger of a show that I'm going out on, and I don't even get to hear the feedback. That's the part that kills me as a producer.
You'll be able to watch the feedback live though as it happens. You know what I mean? Like that's just.
Or better yet, I pop out of the casket because I'm faking it the whole time, and then everybody hates me for the rest of my life.
That's the way to go out, though. That's the way
did all this just to. He did all this just to hear like 8 of his friends say one nice thing about him at the
end. He just wanted to have a kegger to funeral home. That's.
Yeah, I'd have to rebrand after that. Destin Richardson, the name Destin Richardson would have to die. I'll come up with some new name. I'll go out there. I'll either shave my head or I'll dye my hair. I'll vanish. I'll go out to like North Carolina or I don't know, Arizona somewhere. Just start a whole new life.
There you go, man. That's fucking hysterical. Like that's the best thing I've heard in a long time. I'm not going to lie to you here, but hey, Destin, we are running down near the end of the episode here, but I do have to get this one segment in, and no, I don't tell any of my guests about this segment because I want it to be a surprise. For the new listeners out there, this is the Fast Fitty 5. 5 random questions from the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. And they really have nothing to do with what we've been talking about for the entire, 40 minutes that we've been talking here. They're kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to. So if you are ready.
All right, let's do it. All right,
we're good here. All right. Question number 1. If a guy has his ear pierced, when is it appropriate age to stop wearing earrings?
We'll be back after a quick break.
I'm comedian David Race in Los Angeles. I host a celebrity-filled paranormal talk show like no other. Monstrosity has great guests answering weird questions. You won't believe the combo of celebrities and paranormal experts who've been on this show. I guarantee you'll like Monstrosity, or you get your time back. Go to monstrositypodcast.com right now and take a look.
So it's my belief, the appropriate age to stop wearing earrings is a year before you made the decision to pierce your ears at all.
Yeah.
That's one thing I don't do. I have tattoos. I mean, I'm actually getting work done. Recently, I have another session in March. But I can do tattoos. Piercings has been one thing I've just never been on board with at all. And with the ears, there's there's the. I know I'm really killing the rapid fire of this, but then there's the whole do you get the one or do you have to get both? Because then there's you had to know which one sends the right message, stuff like that. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Question number 2: is Applebee's or Olive Garden a better restaurant?
I'm gonna say Applebee's, actually.
Good call.
Because at least Applebee's isn't completely bastardizing a culture. Applebee's is just acknowledging, hey, we do American food, kind of cheap, kind of shitty, and they know that. So I respect them for that.
Yeah, 100%. Question number 3, breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Which is the best meal to go out to eat?
So I would usually say dinner. But that being said, I almost have to always eat out for lunch anyway, given the job. So I always find myself eating out for lunch. So maybe the idea of going out for dinner as well is like extra special.
Okay. Question number 4. If you had the chance to be a plumber or a truck driver for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
Ooh. Not by much, but a trucker.
Yeah.
Because, I already put a lot of time out on the road going to gigs and everything, and it's mentally and spiritually exhausting, but at least, truck stops usually have decent food. There's a lot of lizards, and you don't have to deal with other people's shit, literally.
Yeah. I say plumber, you're just going to catch crap all day long, so yeah.
Yeah.
Question number 5. Is hot tea overrated or underrated?
Hot tea, I will say underrated, especially, here in America. Now, that being said, I'm a iced sweet tea man till the day I die. That'll be on my death row meal. But no, I love a good hot tea. I think it's underrated. I'm sure if I lived in Europe, I would be tired of it and say it's overrated, but it's an acid greener.
Yeah, hot tea, as two guys that literally make a living talking to people, it does help the vocal cords in the throat a little bit. So
yeah.
I guess there's some positives there. I'll work with that, but unless it's sweet tea, all tea is hot garbage. Right. It's my take on it. But that was a Fast 55. I feel like he took it a little easy on you. But yeah, he seems to have these weird obsessions with these questions. For a while,
and they tell a lot about a person.
For a while there was an animal question in every single set of questions. He's now slowly transitioning that to food, is what I've noticed. Is like there's always a food or a restaurant question, but typically, for the new listeners out there, then we'll wrap the show up here. Johnny Fitty Falcone, to live inside of his mind for a day would probably send you to a mental ward, because one of the questions that he literally had was, okay, Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, Batman, and a bear are trapped in a racquetball court. Who comes out alive? Like, those are the types of things that we normally get on the Fast 55. Like, that's...
Yeah. And, wait, so Conor McGregor, Mike Tyson, a bear, and who?
Batman.
So here's the question, and this is coming from a nerd. How much... Is this a random encounter, or does Batman have 24-hour prep time?
He does not have 24-hour prep time.
It's a random encounter. Okay.
Randomly trapped in a racquetball court. So, yeah.
I would still... Here's the thing. I'd still go Batman. He would be able to have gadgets. He would hide himself up in the corner while the bear ate the others. And then he would have some way of subduing the bear from above.
That was the quickest answer anybody's ever given to that kind of question, though. I'll give you that. But, like, people normally, overthink it, but you're probably not. You're probably right. Batman, for sure.
Yeah, Batman's smart enough. He would be like, hey, the others, they can fight, but it's a bear.
It's a fucking bear.
He would let the bear wipe the rest of the competition out, and then while he's up in the corner, hanging from, like, a batarang or some shit like that, he'd be able to, be like, all right, if I land here, go for a weak spot, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But Destin, like I said, we're running down near the end of the episode. I give every guest this opportunity at the end of every episode. I'm going to give you about a minute if there's anything you want to get out there, any upcoming shows, any talk about your podcast, or even if it's just a good message. Going to give you about a minute, and the floor is yours, Marion.
Okay, all right, awesome. So, trying to think here. March 29th, if you're anywhere near Newark, or not March 29th. I'm trying to think here. I'm not looking at my notes here. I have something on March 29th.
Okay.
And then I have a show in April 27th in Columbus, Bossy Girl Spin-Up Joint. May 4th, I have the roast of Luke Skywalker. And, yeah, check out my YouTube channel. Just search my name. It should come up. I have my hour-long stand-up special, Grown Up, on there. I also have the roast of me on there. I have all my podcast episodes. See what else. Social media, The Real Destin Richardson on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. And if you're a single woman, ages 18 through 59, you can text me at 740. Yeah, that's about it.
That's the best way probably to end, is giving your phone number out to...
Remember why I do comedy.
I know why, but to give it out to 18 to 59-year-olds, like, that's smack dab in the middle of my demographic according to the last charts.
Exactly. Hey, I love cougars. So, yeah.
But that is good. We're going to end it there. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. Again, I want to thank my guest, Destin Richardson, the king of Newark, for joining the show here today. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shank It Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.